Para correr lejos, tienes que entrenarte lejos. Para correr rápido, tienes que entrenarte rápido. Si vas a correr 10 millas, 15 millas, medio maratón, un maratón entero, si vas a correr desde Staten Island a Central Park y pasar por los 5 boroughs, pasar por Brooklyn, por Queens, volver a Manhattan, pasar por el Bronx y llegar a Central Park en Manhattan, tú tienes que entrenarte corriendo carreras largas. Pero estos entrenamientos de carreras largas tienen que ser carreras largas suaves. Y hay una serie de beneficios a aquellos atletas, corredores, que se entrenan para medio maratón, para un 5K, 3.2 millas o 5 kilómetros, para un medio maratón, 13.2 millas, o para un maratón, o para ultramaratones, tú tienes que hacer carreras largas, bajo el principio que quien quiere correr lejos, tiene que correr lejos, y que son las leyes del entrenamiento, y que si quieres correr rápido, tienes que entrenarte rápido, y el entrenamiento absolutamente es distinto. Estamos nosotros hoy en Corona Creativo, tu programa especial que hemos reabierto los jueves para trabajar lo que es la ciencia del deporte, la ciencia del correr, ahora que estamos en temporada del maratón en Nueva York. Es el doctor Jorge Piña, tu coach y psicoanalista, en este programa de CoCrea, que comenzamos hace 2 años con la pandemia. Vamos a 3 años ahora. Tenemos 400 y pico de podcasts en todos los sitios, en todos los lados, y nos gustaría que tú lo compartas y estés ahí con nosotros, compartiendo estos minutos, este tiempo, para hablar de lo que nos encanta hacer, que es, digamos, hacer ejercicio para vivir mejor, para estar más feliz, para estar más contento, para hacer comunidad y vivir más tiempo. Yo estoy loco por durar a los 100 años, muchacho, así que arréglate. Yo tengo 62, me faltan todavía 62 y pico, o sea, a los 112 vamos a estar hablando. Y si se resuelve el problema de las pastillas para vivir más tiempo y saludable, me han dicho los expertos en longevidad que lo único que tú tienes que saber es que tu peso, tu índice de masa corporal tiene que estar normal. No puede estar sobrepeso, no puede estar obeso, no puede estar, digamos, con 100, 200 libras por encima de tu peso normal. Ni siquiera con 25 o 50. Tienes que estar normal cuando los cambios fundamentales lleguen. Así que ya tú sabes, este es Corona Creativo, es tu programa especial que estoy haciendo, acompañado en entrevista con Andy Jiménez, a quien estamos esperando y que ya hemos absolutamente invitado. O sea, las carreras largas suaves, las carreras largas lentas, ese es el objetivo. Carreras largas, y las carreras largas, cuando hablamos de carreras largas, son aquellas que se hacen más de 6 a 8 millas, para trabajar aproximadamente unas 6 a 8 millas, estamos hablando de carreras largas, ¿no? Si hacemos 15 minutos, si hacemos 30 minutos, 45 minutos, 1 hora, estamos dentro de lo que serían 3 millas, 4 millas, 5 millas aproximadamente. Pero hablando de carreras largas, tenemos que ponerle un número cuando hacemos carreras largas, y el mínimo es 5, 6, 8 millas. 6, 8 millas. Pienso que estamos hablando de carreras largas, y en consecuencia, después de las 6, 8 millas, el plan va a estar orientado en términos, digamos, a qué tipo de competencia yo voy a hacer mi entrenamiento de carreras largas. Ese es el primer elemento. Si es el medio maratón, si es un maratón completo, o si es un ultramaratón, ¿qué tipo de entrenamiento con las carreras largas yo tengo que tener? ¿Cuáles son mis máximas carreras largas? Si es un medio maratón. Y si es un maratón, ¿cuáles son mis carreras largas? Ese es el primer aspecto. El segundo aspecto es que si es rápido y si es lento, ¿cuál es el paso o el ritmo que yo debo establecer en mis carreras largas? El objetivo siempre va a ser carreras largas lentas, o carreras lentas largas, donde el concepto es ir suave y establecer cuáles son y por qué se debe hacer y cuáles son los beneficios al mismo tiempo. El otro aspecto, ¿cómo nosotros establecemos nuestras carreras largas? Nuestras carreras largas las establecemos por millas. Vamos a correr nuestro entrenamiento todos los sábados, tantas millas que van a aumentarse progresivamente, que se van a disminuir o que se van a utilizar con otras técnicas que se van a incorporar para desarrollar ejercicio y eficiencia en la forma, en los cuerpos, en la respiración, el sistema respiratorio, en el sistema muscular. O sea, cuáles son las otras técnicas de cross entrenamiento cruzado que vamos a utilizar para descansar, para recuperación y para ganar en el proceso del entrenamiento. Esos son otros de los aspectos que debemos tener en cuenta cuando hablamos de hacer carreras largas para el entrenamiento del maratón. Y finalmente el otro es si lo vamos a hacer por hora, si yo voy a hacer mi carrera larga, simplemente sin pensar ni en el ritmo, ni en el paso de la milla los minutos, sino que lo voy a hacer simplemente por horas. Me voy a ir, voy a correr 1 hora, voy a correr 2 horas. Y lo puedo hacer por grupo, y los grupos, yo puedo decir, voy a correr a 9 minutos la milla, a 10, 11, 12, y vamos a hacer, digamos, una hora. A la hora, no importa la velocidad que vaya, tienes que devolverte. Y es una manera también de hacer las carreras legales. Así que estamos en Corona Creativo, tu programa especial sobre trideporte, y estoy haciéndolo directamente junto con Andy, que ya se ha incorporado a la programación, al sistema. Y hoy vamos a estar hablando de las carreras largas, lentas, en el entrenamiento del Maratón de Nueva York. Qué bueno que están ahí con nosotros. Creativos Tri-Sports o creativo multisport o el deporte múltiple es lo que estamos tratando, es el tema que le hemos dado, porque estamos incluyendo no solamente el correr, que somos un experto en esa vaina, sino que estamos incluyendo el swimming, el nadar y también la bicicleta. So just gather you here. So we have Andy, and we're going to do a bilingual presentation today. So we're going to be talking about slow run for the training of the New York City Marathon. If you're training, this is the season. We have a couple of months to finish our long run and to go into the end of the training with getting our miles done and also working in terms of a long run. So when we train for a marathon, ultra marathon, half marathon, the most important part of a program, of the periodization of a program, is under the law of, if you want to run further, run further. If you want to run faster, run fast. So those two principles that are the law of trainings are applied when we are working in terms of the long run. So when we think in terms of long run, it's 6 miles beyond, and we can calculate it. We can do it in terms of how many hours do I run slowly or how many miles do I get. So I can go both ways. And at the same time, it's about the lowest pace that you can handle, in which you can have a slow kind of conversation, a very easy conversational kind of pace, so that you can develop and have the benefits of the slow run. O sea, qué bueno que están ahí. Vamos a introducir inmediatamente a Andy. Andy, how are you? ¿Cómo te encuentras? ¿Cómo están las cosas? How are you?
Good, Dr. Piña. Doing well. Can you hear me?
Perfectly. I can hear you perfectly. Yeah.
Terrific, terrific. Yeah, I think it's the subject tonight is a really good subject in reference to running the long marathon, and I'm glad to be here. And in reference to the, like you mentioned, in reference to the long run, it's very, very important to understand that running fast or wanting to run fast starts with building your aerobic energy. And your aerobic energy is with the slow runs. And, like I've shared before, that was a concept that I didn't grasp before. I used to want to run fast, and I would expel my energy to run fast, but a couple of times it led to some injuries. So if you want to build your speed, you have to start training your aerobic system, and that starts with a slow run. And I think in terms of the slow, if you're doing long distance, the long distance is like if you're running like 90 minutes or more in terms of the time, determines your long run. But part of also the long run, when you're building your aerobic system, what you're doing also is that when you're running slow, you're conserving your, what they call the glycogen and your glucose, which is what you need for your energy source. And you usually get that from the food. But if you run slow, you conserve that, your glycogen, and you conserve your glucose for at the last miles that you're doing, you have enough energy to go faster. So if you want to run fast, you have to start by running slow.
Excelente, excelente. Exactamente. Yo pienso que lo que tú acabas de decir es absolutamente importante. Hay otro aspecto que hay que considerar y es que de acuerdo a la ciencia del correr, la capacidad del cuerpo humano es solamente correr aproximadamente unas 20 millas. Después de las 20 millas es lo que el ser humano, el cuerpo, puede aguantar con los ejercicios, con el entrenamiento normal, con la capacidad de comida y de nutrición. Nosotros podemos llegar fácilmente, sin explotarnos, sin cansarnos, sin destruirnos, sin morirnos, a aproximadamente 20 millas. A partir de las 20 millas, todos los atletas, todos los corredores reducen la velocidad. Es lo que nosotros llamamos la pared. ¿Y por qué reducimos la velocidad? Porque no lo tenemos en el cuerpo, no en el sistema respiratorio. Porque la capacidad del ser humano solamente nos da para correr 20 millas sin pararnos, ¿no? Después de ahí, que son los últimos 10K, los últimos 10 kilómetros, los 6.2 millas que no hacen falta, se necesita el entrenamiento, se necesita la nutrición, se necesitan las condiciones. So the capacity of the human being is 20 miles, proven by the science of running. You can go by Tim Noakes and his books, The Lord of Running. It's we don't know, but men can only go further, cannot go further than 20 miles. That's a proven fact. Everybody, all the athletes, all the running, when they get to 20 miles, that's it. I am tired. I can't make it. I cannot go further. I need to slow down. 100% of athletes, anybody at mile 20, they slow down. They slow down. That's it. There's no more fuel. There's no more food. There's no more system or muscular system. I'm painful, completely done. Or my hormonal system is shut down. I cannot move, man. 20 miles is the key. So, if 20 miles is the key, si el problema son las 20 millas, entonces nosotros queremos entrenarnos con suave y lento por 6 millas, 10 millas, 12 millas, 14 millas, 18 millas, 20 millas, y jugar con la velocidad y el tiempo, y jugar con el millaje, y jugar con nuestro cuerpo hasta buscar el condicionamiento en unas diferentes áreas, aproximadamente unas 7 áreas que están íntimamente relacionadas con la fisiología, con las partes corporales, que tienen que ver con el entrenamiento, del por qué la importancia de correr largo, de correr esas 20 millas de entrenamiento. Hay algunos que si van a correr un maratón, corren el maratón 2 o 3 veces antes de correr el maratón. Nosotros lo recomendamos que tú tengas que correr 26 millas, después tirarte 26 millas. Y antes se pensaba que la manera de tú hacerlo era, digamos, que tú ibas y corrías 26 millas, hacías 50 millas y después 3 o 4 días antes te metías y corrías un maratón. O sea, no había en lo que nosotros sabemos ahora la reducción de la milla, de tal manera que tú puedas tener 15 millas antes del maratón para el descanso, que es el tapering. No existía eso. El tapering se hizo por casualidad. Alguien iba a hacer una carrera, se enfermó, tuvo un injury, se hirió, tuvo un accidente y tuvo que descansar en el hospital por 2 semanas y de repente va y corre la mejor carrera y gana. Y la gente comienza a ver las historias biográficas de la gente. Wow, pero ¿qué pasó ahí? No, es que descansó por lo menos 14 días antes de la carrera. Hizo absolutamente bien porque el cuerpo incorporó todo lo necesario en el entrenamiento que tenía. Se descansó suficiente y le dio toda la energía para ir a correr. So it means like when we speak and we think in terms of the long run, it's the science of running. It's if you're going to run 10 miles, you please run those 10 miles. If you're going to run 5 miles, run 5 miles several times. With the marathon, it's serious. You have to be very serious because it's something about the marathon that is serious that you need to take into consideration. You need to know because you can die. Okay? Marathon 26.6 miles means you can really die in the process. And that's what happened with the first marathoner. So under the principle of if you want to run far, run far. If you want to run fast, run fast, and also have the conscious that the capacity of the human being is only 20 miles. And after the 20 miles is why you need the training. Okay? Andy.
Yeah, and that's a very good point too. I mean, prior to them, like you mentioned about the tapering, I guess prior to the tapering, I mean, the amount of people that probably just exploded. I mean, we've had some examples of people in our group that have hit those walls, and have, basically, I mean, your body falls apart. And sometimes I think about some of the ultra runners, some of these people that do 50 miles, 100 miles. I mean, I've seen people that are doing those 50 to 100 miles, and they literally cannot walk. I mean, their body, your body can only take so much. And, and part of the training also that I think will help people in terms of getting stronger, I think, is doing the group training. Because there's a saying, where you mentioned some of it before. The saying is like, if you want to go fast, you can go alone. But if you want to go far, you do that with a group. And part of the things about going with the group is that, number one, it makes the run, a little bit more pleasurable to do. And it also makes it easier. So if you want to do the miles, that's one of the things I want to encourage a lot of people that are hopefully listening, is do it with the group. We have these long runs that we're doing every Sunday. And part of that is to have people come in and run as a group, and it makes it a lot more pleasurable and easier to go through that process of putting in the miles. But part of that is putting in the miles, and then later on, tapering. But this whole process is going to help you, build up the endurance to be able to do these miles. And just like Dr. Piña says, I mean, we hit a wall after 20 miles. The human body can only take so much, but part of building your body to that, you have to put in the miles. And like, we have a couple of months left. I think next week we have just 6 miles. We're going to do a 10K in Van Cortlandt Park, but then after the following Sunday, we're going to be doing 14 miles. So, and I would encourage people that are listening to come out and train for that and be a part of that in Central Park. I guess it's 2 Sundays from today, from this week.
Exactly. So now this is what This is what we taught. This is what you have to understand. You have to get ready until you get to Willis Bridge in the Bronx, which is mile 20. Ahí está, ya te lo dije. Todo lo que tú tienes que hacer es llegar desde Staten Island, desde el Verrazano Bridge, pasando por Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, la primera avenida, hasta la milla 20. Ahí tú te vas desplomado, vas a descojonar, te va a pasarte todo lo que sea, pero tú tienes que llegar ahí a live, vivo, a esa zona. Si tú llegas con toda la fuerza, con todo el ejercicio, no hiciste el negativo, la división negativa, el split step, comenzaste suave, y tú usaste agua, tomaste agua, llegaste tu 10 kilómetros, tus 10 kilómetros, tus 15 kilómetros, hiciste bien, te planificaste bien y llegaste a tus 20 millas, ya tú has corrido tus 20 millas, tus 15 millas, tus 18 millas y estás haciendo lo que es el primer elemento del entrenamiento de la carrera larga. And the first benefit of the long runs, it's endurance. You're gonna get force, strength. You're gonna feel it. You can go through the miles. You can go through the places. You can go in nature. You go with your community. Your body is getting stronger and strength. You feel it. You feel the confidence. You're getting more endure. Okay. More confident. You going for 1 week for 8 miles, then you do 10 miles, and then you do 15 miles. Week by week, you're gaining that strength, that endurance of your body. That's the most important thing, because when you are there and you're gonna get to the Willis Bridge alive and easy and strong and confident and secure in yourself, like proud of, I have run 20 miles, because you already did the 20 miles. Okay? And that 20 miles, that training is that we're going to give you the endurance. O sea que el primer concepto del correr largo y hacerlo consistentemente es que te da fuerza y confianza en ti mismo. Ya yo hice 10 millas. Ya yo completé 15 millas. Ya yo le metí 20 millas. Ya yo sé lo que es 20 millas. Mano, Hacer 20 millas en el trail de Courtland es una vaina del carajo. Tú comienzas ya y terminas para acá del carajo para hacer 20 millas. Eso no es fácil, esa vaina, 20 millas, mi hermano. Tú es lejísimo. Y cuando tú vas y lo haces, tú dices, I can get to Willis Bridge. I can get there. That's the goal. Remember, we spoke about the routes of the New York City Marathon, exactly the route, what you have to do in the first 2 miles, the next 13 miles, then the 4 miles of the First Avenue, then a couple of 2 miles in the Bronx, Fifth Avenue, and then the last 10K from that place. But again, when we run long in a training group with a coach like Dr. Piña and Andy, the concept of the slow, long run is about having the endurance to get to the finish line of the 26-point mile. Andy.
Yes, that's a really good point, and I think like you mentioned before, in terms of the endurance, you're building your endurance, but you're also building your mental strength, because what you're doing is, it's scary to think about sometimes doing 26 miles, going through all the 5 boroughs, and if you're doing that for the first time, psychologically you can be very nervous about it. But if you've done your mileage, it's going to build confidence, mental confidence. I did the 10 miles, I did the 15 miles, I did the 20 miles. I put the training in. You still be a little nervous, going there, but you did the work. But if you're going into the marathon doing 26 miles and all you've done is 10 miles or 10K and you haven't really put in the work, you're going in, mentally feeling very insecure because you feel like you haven't put in the time. So, and that's what we're trying to encourage you to do, is to put in the time now. We have this window of opportunity that is slowly closing. And we're getting closer and closer to that marathon date. So, and then, part of that, date, we have to have 2 to 3 weeks of rest, of tapering down. So really we have a shorter period of time. So put in the time, put in the mileage so that you can build also not only the endurance, but also your mental strength, your confidence in doing this race.
Exactly. That's what we're talking about. So we got endurance, and we're going to go into something that is really very important and that will allow you to get to that we know what's going on, what's happening during the whole process of the marathon. And it's how can I promote, keep, and maintain my form when I'm running? It's only when you do the long run. When someone doesn't have a form, está destruido, está encojonado, está todo desbaratado. Tú lo ves, que no puede correr, que no puede caminar, los brazos para abajo, las piernas que no la puede subir, los hombros tirados, todo deprimido, todo descojonado proceso. Todo el mundo lo ve que está gritando, está llorando. Se le descojonó la forma, no va a llegar. La forma es importante. Y la única manera de nosotros conseguir forma es cuando nosotros corremos las millas, las 5 o 10 millas, vamos extendidas y comenzamos a jugar con nuestra forma. El caché de las manos, trabajar los brazos, los hombros, mantenerlo ahí hasta el final. Me falta media hora, 15 minutos, me faltan 5 millas, 10 millas, 4 millas, pero tú mantienes tu forma erguida. Tú vas, tus pies están en forma perfecta. Tú sientes el cansancio, pero tú estás bajando con el cansancio. Y mientras tú estás bajando el cansancio, eso te va a permitir llegar adecuadamente a tus millas continuamente. Entonces, lo que vamos a ganar cuando hacemos long run es ganar, establecer y promover una buena forma hasta el final, ¿no? Que eso es importante. Y solamente se logra cuando tú puedes. Voy a correr por 1 hora, 2 horas, 3 horas, 4 horas, y yo voy a tratar de mantenerme en ese tiempo, porque progresivamente yo voy ganando ese tiempo, yo voy ganando en mis carreras largas, estoy ganando en mis carreras. So, when we talk about it's important to come Sunday to the training and do the long run, it's because doing the long run under a coach, you need to work with your shoulders, your arms, your feet, and you need to see, you need to go from mile 1 to 3 to 5 to whatever miles you need to complete in a good form. Straight, happy face, Nico, Nico, Nico is smile. And I say it, smile to the left, smile to the left. Pero doctor Piña, ¿qué diablo tú me estás hablando? Yo no puedo reírme. Coño, son 15 millas que tengo. Pero tú estás loco. Yeah, but get your form. Yeah, keep it. That's what we say when we're talking about the form. es que tú al final de toda la vaina, porque tú te baratado, tú llegues con happy face, Nico al final de la carrera. O sea que el entrenamiento de long run training is about how can I keep my form, because at the end of the 20 miles and right there at the end of the human capacity, you're going to need those 10 Ks, and the only way you can do it is you can have a good form. Because if tú viniste baratado al 20, you cannot get there to the 21, 24, and at the 25th, we need to be calling the doctor, you know, or emergency people, if you don't have a good form by miles 20. Andy.
Yeah, that is, the form is very important. It's a very important thing to try to practice, and you do it during the practice. I know that relaxing your shoulders and having some movement on your arms is very important. Your stride, how much distance you cover with your stride, with your length of your run is very important. Your breathing is also very important. Most people breathe only through their mouth, and the scientific, information and reference to that says that the best way to breathe is to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And that takes practice. That's not something that most people can do naturally. Sometimes, you feel like maybe your breathing through the nose is actually holding you back. But that's what the science dictates that you need to do, is to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and then setting a pace of your breathing that goes with your stride, with how much you step. But a lot of that comes with the practice. And you do that during the practice, your form, you keep yourself upright, you have the stride, you move your arms to help you move forward. You do your breathing correctly, you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then you pace yourself through the process. You pace yourself through the process to get you to the finish line. But a lot of that is, doing that in the practice. And somebody might say, well, I want to be doing all those different things during the time that I'm running slow. But during the time that you're running slow, these are the kinds of things that you need to do. Relax your shoulders, move your arms, breathe correctly, have the proper strides. And it's very important to do that. And it'll help you with your race.
Great. So we're going to finish with 2 points, and then we're going to go back to next week, and we're going to follow with the slow long run, because we're going to give, at least in the podcast, a couple of sessions talking about the long run, why it's so important. So I'm going to end that with 2 points in terms of the long run and the benefits of it. And then we're going to finish for today, and we're going to go back next week to the long run, continue the same topic, because this is it. That's the bone. That's the skeleton. That's the meat of the training. How do I do my long run? What kind of long run do I have to do? What is it about? So, vamos a terminar con 2 puntos sobre las carreras largas, porque es la musculatura, es la parte fundamental, es la parte vital de todo entrenamiento, correr largo, bajo la ley de que si quiere correr largo, corre largo, si quiere correr rápido, tiene que correr rápido, tiene que hacerlo rápidamente. Y el tercero, fortalecer músculos, piernas, los brazos y la espalda. Mi hermano, si tú no corres largo, tú no vas a poder correr maratón, porque tus piernas van a estar débiles. El sistema musculatorio tuyo no va a dar. Por eso que tú no puedes venir que yo voy a correr un maratón y correr por 3 meses, por 6 meses y lo voy a correr. Tu musculatura no está preparada para correr 6 horas, 4 horas y media, corriendo sin parar. Las piernas, los brazos, el movimiento, los callos, el sistema muscular tiene que fortalecerse. ¿Cómo tú vas a fortalecerte los músculos, las piernas, el torso tuyo, la espalda, los brazos, el sistema musculatorio completo para hacer la fuerza, el ejercicio que necesita, el movimiento interno de tu cuerpo que resista correr por 4 horas y media o por 5 o 6 horas? Si tú no tienes el cuerpo fortalecido, ¿cómo tú vas a lograr eso? Las carreras cortas, suaves, te van a ayudar a fortalecer tus piernas, los pies cuando bajas, el camal comienza a fortalecerse arriba, abajo, los brazos, de tal manera que tú puedas mantenerte ahí, corriendo, sin cansarte. Ese movimiento, parado, caminar, correr, eso fortalece el cuerpo, te lo hace más fuerte, más duro, te da la capacidad de sostenerte por más tiempo. Sostener el sistema muscular por más tiempo bajo la presión del peso es lo que se llama el fortalecer. One of the main benefits of the long training, the long run, is the muscular system that you have to strengthen. Your arms, your feet, your legs, especially your legs, have to be strengthened through the process of the long run. And how do we get that? You have to get out every week, and you have to go further, like with keeping your forms and doing the work, doing the job. And in that process, you're gonna get stronger, and you're gonna go further, and you're gonna conquer the mind. You're gonna conquer the terrain. You're gonna conquer the whole routes, whatever it is. So one of the benefits, or why do we have to go and do the long runs every Sunday? It's because I'm going to strengthen my muscular system so that my muscular system can sustain myself during 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of the marathon. If you don't do that, if you don't have it, you're going to have a weak system, muscular system. And that's the issue. That's why most people that doesn't do the training, they are going to be in pain, most likely. Muscles going to be weak, all right? They're going to be stopping too much. And, of course, they might not finish the marathon. And then, finally, your breathing system, your respiratory system. You need to have your muscular system, your respiratory system, your breathing system in order so that whenever you go, you can train your breathing in and out for half an hour, for an hour or so, that you can breathe accordingly to the miles, to the strength, to the force in the whole process. So by breathing in and out, that process that you can sustain the energy, you can sustain the process of being relaxed and getting tired in this process for half an hour, for 1 hour, for two hours, is because you also training your breathing system, your respiratory system. Karina me está diciendo que me baje, pero yo soy un tipo que habla alto. Entonces, tu sistema respiratorio, eso es porque ya no está aquí, Andy. Tu sistema respiratorio, el hecho de que cuando tú vas a correr y de repente te falta la respiración y tú no puedes, te quieres parar y corres rápido por 15 minutos y te está cansando, te está muriendo porque tu sistema respiratorio no te ha entrenado. Tú tienes que entrenar el sistema respiratorio para media hora, para 1 hora, corriendo, caminando. Entonces, cuando tú lo haces simplemente saliendo afuera, méteme la luz, por favor, que estamos aquí en una presentación. Entonces, de tal manera que además del fortalecimiento de la musculatura, las piernas, la espalda, los brazos, también tiene que entrenar el sistema respiratorio, cardiorrespiratorio, sistema muscular, para que sea más eficiente. Y eso es lo que pasa. Wow, ya yo no me canso. Wow, ya yo respiro mejor. Wow, yo puedo hacerlo por 1 hora, por 2 horas. Wow, antes me estaba muriendo. Yes, because you just trained your respiratory system to work efficiently by doing the long run. Andy.
Yeah, that is, I'm going to share with experience. I mean, back a couple of years back, when I first started, I was being trained by Dr. Piña and Karina, and we did a lot of miles. And I have to say that most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, I think it was one time I was injured. I was injury free, but most of it was because we were training and doing the mileage and putting in the time. We were doing hills, we were doing long distance, we were doing different things, and that strengthened the ligaments in my knees. I had several years back, I had a torn ACL and torn meniscus. So my left knee, the surrounding area needed to be strengthened because my knee in the center wasn't strong. But by doing these long miles consistently, it built the ligaments around my knee and it strengthened me and it prevented me from having injuries. Because one of the things that this training does when you do get this endurance going is that it helps you avoid injury. And that's really, really important. Some people, when they don't do the training like this and get the endurance and they try to run fast and do all these different things, and running fast has its moments. You have to try to train for running fast, but that is like Dr. Piña mentioned. When you're running, slow, easy miles, you're running slow, easy miles, and when you're running fast. But this builds the ligaments, the endurance in your body, and it helps you prevent injury. And you need that in order for you to succeed in a marathon, because if you get injured, you're out for months. The recovery is, it gets you mentally, it gets you physically. After all the work that you did, you can't do the marathon. So it's very important to do that, because it'll prevent you from being injured. It'll help you not get injured if you do this the way Dr. Piña and I are mentioning here right now.
Exactly, that's what it is. De eso se trata cuando vamos a entrenar, hacemos los carreras largas. Y yo pienso que con estas técnicas, estas informaciones, lo vamos a dejar para el slow run. And then we come back again. So part 2 of the slow long run with Andy and Dr. Piña. We're going to continue talking about the benefits of going the long run and doing perfect, because you're gonna be straight. You're gonna have the endurance, psychologically, physically. You're gonna keep the form. Your muscular system, your breathing system is gonna be strengthened, and that's what you want. Okay, guys. Así que nos vemos. Muchísimas gracias, Andy Jiménez, por estar ahí conmigo en este programa de creativos del grupo de creativos, de corredores creativos. Estamos los sábados, los domingos a las 11 en el Parque Central y a las 8 en la mañana haciendo los ROM, y también en Vancouver we're doing the speed training by Coach Andy. If you want to go, this is a group, it's bilingual. You can go speak Spanish, English, whatever you want, French or German, it's multilingual, and we're going to help you out to get to the training, to get to the marathon, to finish the marathon. Andy.
Yes, it was a pleasure being on here tonight. I hope the audience got something out of this. And I look forward to seeing you guys either Sunday at 8 o'clock or with Dr. Piña at 11 or Tuesday at 6:30 for the speed class. Have a good night, everybody.
Chévere. Bye bye. Así que nos vemos la próxima. Hasta luego.